There's a sound that changes everything. The engine starts alive with energy, vibrating through metal and mind. The badge reads M, a single letter small enough to sit on a trunk lid, yet heavy enough to define an era. It doesn't just represent a car, it embodies the idea that machines can evoke feeling, demand respect, and reward skill. From racetracks to winding back roads, it became a heartbeat recognized around the world. Drivers who experienced it knew this was more than speed. It was connection, focus, and unspoken understanding between human and machine. Munich, 1972. BMW was recovering from years of uncertainty. Its cars were precise and also reliable, but excitement was missing. A few engineers refused to settle. They believed cars could be more than transport. They could provoke awe, demand attention, and reward mastery. Jochen Neerpasch assembled a small, determined team. BMW Motorsport GmbH was created quietly, without ceremony, fueled by urgency. Their mission was simple: build cars that could dominate circuits, yet carry emotion into every driver's hands. Engine placement, weight distribution, all had to be perfect. Nights of testing but repeated failures were part of the process. Mistakes were lessons. Precision was non-negotiable. They worked in hidden workshops where the air smelled of fuel and metal dust. Every late-night argument about camshafts or aerodynamics carried weight because these men understood that 1 degree, 1 millimeter, 1 heartbeat could change everything. Sleep came rarely, replaced by sketches and datasheets scattered across benches. The sound of engines echoing through empty industrial halls became their anthem. The 3.0 CSL emerged as the first proof. Lightweight, aerodynamic, it conquered tracks across Europe. Victories brought credibility, but the engineers' obsession went beyond trophies. They measured success by how a car responded to a driver's hands, feet, and instincts. When the steering wheel trembled under load and the chassis communicated every ounce of grip, they knew they were close. Conflict existed within BMW, and management prioritized cost and efficiency. Motorsport pushed for performance and daring. Racing alone could not ensure survival, yet the motorsport team envisioned road cars that carried the same energy. Slowly, culture shifted. By the mid-1970s, the foundations of the M series were visible. Lessons of focus and precision became guiding principles. Inside those garages, legends began not with fanfare, but with arguments and experiments. Steel met fire, calculations met intuition. BMW had changed. The company no longer just produced vehicles, it created experiences. Every car, test, and adjustment reinforced the philosophy. A car must feel alive in capable hands. Engineers obsessed over every detail, knowing that true excellence was invisible to those who did not drive it. By the late 1970s, the vision was clear. BMW would craft vehicles blending engineering rigor with emotion. The M series was no longer concept, it was reality, carrying the promise of mastery and daring challenge. Yet as the decade closed, one question lingered in the air. Could BMW truly build a supercar worthy of its newfound identity? They wanted a supercar that could challenge the finest Italian machines while carrying the intensity of racing onto public streets. Its design was daring, angular, low, mid-engined, and balanced. The car demanded focus. It didn't forgive distraction or inexperience. BMW partnered with Lamborghini for production. It seemed ideal, but chaos intervened. Lamborghini went bankrupt midway. So therefore, production was delayed and cost overran. BMW engineers took control, infusing obsession into each vehicle. Every single pane and weld reflected their dedication. Behind those sculpted lines lay frustration, triumph, and resilience. The M1 was not born from ease. It was carved out of crisis. Engineers had to improvise, sourcing parts across Europe, assembling prototypes by hand, testing them under secrecy. Each sound of its inline-six echoing off factory walls reminded them that this car symbolized not just performance, but survival. In 1978, the M1 launched. Its engine demanded attention, responding instantly to throttle and gear changes. Driving it was immersive. The car communicated, revealing its character with every movement. On racetracks, the M1's purpose was undeniable. Formula One drivers competed in identical M1s in the Pro Car series. Monaco, Silverstone, and other circuits bore witness to its brilliance. Drivers were challenged, spectators captivated. But beyond the podiums, the M1 carried an aura. Its shape alone could stop conversations. Children pressed their faces against showroom glass. Enthusiasts whispered about its sound, its impossible balance, its refusal to be tamed. BMW had built not just a machine, but a symbol of audacity. The M1 struggled commercially. Few could afford it, yet it left an indelible mark. It established the philosophy BMW would carry forward: engineering excellence paired with emotional engagement. The car became a blueprint for the M series. Engineers learned the balance between performance but also risk. The M1 taught BMW that a car's impact is measured not solely by speed, but by how it makes the driver feel. Through the 1980s, the lessons endured. Every subsequent M vehicle carried fragments of M1 DNA: responsiveness, precision, and intensity. BMW demonstrated that machines could stir passion while mastering engineering, a legacy that continues to shape their approach decades later. The M1's shadow lingered over Munich, its failure and success intertwined, forcing BMW to confront what it meant to create emotion out of metal. When the last M1 left the factory, it wasn't an end, it was ignition. The engineers who touched it would go on to shape the future of the M series, carrying the fire it lit within them. The supercar dream had not vanished. It had evolved. The 1980s and 1990s introduced the M series to the world, cementing its reputation. The E28 M5 arrived first, a sedan that combined comfort with performance engines capable of outpacing cars built solely for speed. Its balance and responsiveness created a dialogue between driver and machine. The E28 was proof that sedans could evoke mastery. This was the decade when power met poise. BMW proved that practicality could coexist with adrenaline. Executives could drive to meetings in the morning and to racetracks at dusk without changing cars. The M5 was the gentleman's weapon, refined yet ruthless when provoked. Beneath its understated body, the heart of a racer waited, eager to breathe. Shortly after, the E30 M3 emerged. It was small and yet aggressive. It dominated touring car racing. Drivers discovered its versatility on roads as well as circuits. Every turn demanded control. Every acceleration required anticipation. The car rewarded skill and punished mistakes. Communities formed around the M3, sharing experiences, technical insights, and stories of night drives, track testing, and perfect execution. In garages across Europe, owners modified, tuned, and raced their M3s, each treating it like an extension of themselves. Its boxy silhouette became iconic, its exhaust note instantly recognizable. It wasn't merely a car, it was a rite of passage. To master an E30 M3 was to understand balance, patience, and precision. BMW expanded the M line. Models like the E34 and E39 M5, the M6, and the Z3M preserved the M ethos, power, and balance. Owners felt ritual rather than routine when driving. The E34 M5 refined the art of subtle aggression, luxury cloaked in restraint, power hidden behind quiet design. The E39 then raised the bar again, introducing a V8 that sang with mechanical purity. Drivers described it as a perfect middle ground between analog feel and modern civility. It became the yardstick by which all later M5s would be measured. The M badge became more than identification, it represented understanding and commitment. Owners knew the connection went beyond horsepower and torque. The M series demanded presence and rewarded precision. Driving became an art form. Every corner, acceleration, and brake was a test of intent. By the late 1990s, BMW refined its philosophy. M vehicles symbolized capability and emotion. The 2000s brought challenges. Regulations tightened. Customers demanded innovation and authenticity. BMW responded with turbocharged engines, refined suspensions, and advanced chassis control. Yet every system was designed to preserve the connection between car and driver. The E46 M3 became a benchmark for engagement. Its naturally aspirated engine combined power with emotive sound, rewarding attentiveness. The E60M5 introduced a V10 engine. Drivers could not simply react, they had to anticipate. This was a turning point for BMW M, a balancing act between progress and principle. The automotive world was shifting fast. Electronic aids and automatic transmissions began taking over. But within the M department, every discussion still returned to one question. Does it still feel alive? The E46 answered that question with thunder. Its 3.2-liter straight-six sang to 8,000 RPM, every note deliberate, every downshift a conversation between man and machine. The chassis felt alert, light on its feet, precise enough to carve corners yet forgiving enough to dance with. It was the last of an era, mechanical, tactile, honest. Owners described it not as driving, but communion. Then came the E60M5, a car that shocked the world. Under its hood lived a 5.0-liter V10 inspired by Formula One technology, screaming to 8,250 RPM. It wasn't just an engine, it was a declaration. BMW was willing to risk everything for the sake of emotion. But that emotion came with challenge. The car demanded respect. The gearbox snapped gears with fury. The throttle punished hesitation. Those who mastered it walked away breathless, those who didn't, humbled. BMW's engineers stood at a crossroads. They had proven their power, but they feared losing purpose. Technology was both their ally and their enemy. Every new feature had to serve the driver, not replace them. Inside the M division, long debates raged over steering feel, throttle mapping, and gear ratios. It wasn't about numbers, it was about connection. Hybrid powertrains and electrification appeared on the horizon. BMW explored innovation while preserving the M identity. Even as turbocharging entered the scene with the F80 M3 and M4, engineers obsessed over keeping character intact. They tuned exhausts not just for compliance, but for emotion. They simulated engine bark and vibration through clever acoustics, fighting against the silence of efficiency. The challenge was no longer just mechanical, it was philosophical. Could emotion survive in an age of control units and software? The M series proved that evolution need not compromise philosophy. Legacy was living, adaptable, and enduring. Every model reaffirmed the core: connection, challenge, and exhilaration. BMW demonstrated that engineering and emotion could coexist, sustaining the thrill decades of drivers had come to expect. Still, the division knew the world was changing faster than ever. Electric whispers were replacing combustion roars. The next chapter would require more than innovation. It would require faith. The M division's greatest test was about to begin: how to make silence thrilling. Today, the M series represents a fusion of heritage and modern innovation. Turbocharged engines, hybrids, and electrified models deliver staggering performance. Every design decision, sound, steering, balance, ergonomics, is informed by decades of experience and passion. BMW engineers focus obsessively on preserving the connection between driver and machine. Lessons from the M1, M3, and M5 guide each curve, each shift, and each line. Purists may question modernity, yet the philosophy remains intact. Driving an M is a test of skill, awareness, but respect too. Electric and hybrid technology enters seamlessly. The M spirit adapts, coexisting with innovation. Heritage is honored, excitement preserved. Driving remains visceral, requiring engagement, focus, and anticipation. Each vehicle connects generations of engineers and drivers through the same principles: response, balance, and emotional resonance. But this era is different. Power is no longer scarce, it's instant. The challenge now is not how fast, but how alive. BMW's engineers sit before endless screens of data, yet still listen to the music of engines in their minds. They calibrate electric motors to mimic the tension of torque, design fake vibrations that feel startlingly real, and sculpt silence into rhythm. Because even in an age of electrons, emotion cannot be coded. The new M cars, like the M2, M3 Competition, and XM, carry that contradiction within them. They're digital, yet instinctive. Step inside one and the tradition is unmistakable. Thick steering wheel, firm seats, the hum of potential energy beneath your feet. It's the same heartbeat that started in Munich half a century ago, only louder, faster, but also smarter. On the Nürburgring, prototypes still chase perfection. Engineers record every lap, watching suspension telemetry like surgeons studying a pulse. Every curve tells a story, every adjustment another heartbeat of a living legacy. Some nights, test drivers return with grins and shaking hands, proof that even with electricity and algorithms, thrill still survives. BMW knows the world is moving toward automation, but the M badge stands defiant. These cars are not built to drive themselves, they're built to remind us why we drive at all. To feel weight shift under braking, to sense traction through fingertips, to hear the subtle crescendo of an engine climbing toward redline. That feeling of unity, control, and respect is absolutely timeless. The M Series is more than transport. Its heartbeat continues, inspiring new enthusiasts while honoring the past. Roads remain open, engines roar. The M Series remains alive, unmistakable, and undeniable. An absolute living legacy of precision and skill. Hope you enjoyed the video and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, I'll see you next time.